of various public sector financial reforms, such as the Treasury single account, and about 300 billion naira had been recovered by the anti-graft agencies of government through collaborative efforts of the Ministry of Finance, Budget, and National Planning. The three tiers of government and revenue collecting agencies shared the sum of 8.1 trillion naira from the Federation account in 2019. Analysis of the distribution by the Federation Account Allocation Committee shows that the federal government received a total of 2.92 trillion naira, states got 2.29 trillion naira, local government received 1.74 trillion naira, while the 9 oil-producing states received 545.5 billion naira as 13% of all revenue generation. The federal government has commenced implementation of the new visa on arrival policy for Africans despite the objections raised by the Senate. The new visa regime commenced on January 1, 2020 as planned, just as the Nigerian Immigration Service deploys a new border management security system in 4 airports across the country. And lastly, the federal government has planned to establish 6 medical centers of excellence to cater for health needs of Nigerians as part of efforts to curb frequent medical tourism in the country. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Health, Ibrahim Oloregbe, noted that a minimum of 1 center would be located in each of the 6 geopolitical zones to reduce the quest for foreign medical treatments. All right, let's quickly take a break, and when we come back from the break, the program continues. Do stay with us as Moneyline with Nancy, the first live show for 2020. We'll be right back.
This year, I believe I will save much money because this year start with me with a very nice thing. I have a job which I am right now doing. My wife is going to buy and sell. So to me, my side, I think I can, when I'm doing, I'll be sponsoring her.
More of investment. In fact, actually saving and investment. I'll go into saving and investment because the reason why I want to go into saving and investment is that, well, if I just save, savings doesn't bring me any returns. The kind of interest the banks put on your money is nothing to write home about. Therefore, my intention is to go into more of investment.
If God give me money, I want to save it. I don't want to spend more like I don't want hardship in my family. I want any little God give me, I want to save it.
No, to spend money anyhow, it's not good now because it's not easy to get money. So I prefer to save more and more. My priority is to have a shelter for myself. I mean, to become a landlord.
I intend to invest not on material things any longer, but to touch a lot of lives. Go to the orphanage. I'm going to try as much as I can to start up a school and then employ people to work. Those that are unemployed, I try to make them get some jobs.
To find something to invest in and see how it goes along the year.
How many percent are you willing to put aside for savings?
Around 35%.
Of what you earn?
Yeah, 35%.
Going to savings?
Not savings, to investment.
Only to investment?
Yeah, not savings.
Save more. Save more. Because the way the country is going, you need to save more than what you spend. So, yeah, thanks.
I want to have at least 10 million within a short period to execute from now till 6 months' time. To get that 10 million to execute a project, a business project that will boost my financial stand.
Every day because of the nature of my work, which I do every day, you understand, I work with a company and I have a savings, which I save every month like 10,000 naira. At the end of the year, I know that this is what I will achieve and I can use it to do stuff.
All right, welcome back. Those were some Nigerians talking about their financial goals for 2020. In fact, if you want to set a financial goal, there's no maybe deal, because I heard one young man saying maybe, one also said, is it saving or investing about 35%? But let's get more perspectives as it regards you, your money, and 2020. Nancy is here again. Yes, it's about your money. And Sola is joining me. Sola Adesakin, the founder of Smart Stewards, is joining me from Lagos via Skype. Sola, good morning.
Hi, Nancy. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Sola. How are you?
I'm very well, doing very well. How are you too?
I'm great. It's going to be a great 2020, isn't it? In fact, I hashtagged Profit 2020. That's my own hashtag this year. That's my own byline this year. Profit 2020. I must be profitable in everything I do, not at the expense of others, though. In everything I do this year. So, Sola, Happy New Year again to you. We're looking at you, your money, and 2020. Sola, are you there? Can I see your face?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Very much.
You, your money, and 2020. December is over, because we've started another year. From January till November, you see a lot of people working. And when it's December period, in fact, that 2 weeks or how many days holiday, everybody is running helter-skelter. And all the money we've made from January to November or December, as the case may be, we spend it in just a matter of days, or in a matter of weeks. And the narrative you start hearing in January is, we want to pay school fees. So that's it, December is over. What should we do not to avoid being jammed in January?
Awesome. So I'm particularly delighted at the goals that a couple of people mentioned earlier on. But it's interesting to know that a lot more people are embracing financial literacy. Now, people are talking about savings, people are talking about investments, people are talking about new businesses. Now, before now, I believe that financial literacy was not as popular as it is now. People will tell you January is the longest month and a whole lot more. Last year in December, I had the opportunity of talking with a lot of people. And I can tell you this, a lot of people had January in mind. Okay, so I think that's a good one for those of us practicing in the financial literacy field. So now that we are in January, whether you set goals, whether you didn't set goals, let's look at everybody and just, decide or maybe just discuss basic things that would help you navigate not only January, but the entire year. Now, the title of this discussion is You, Your Money, and 2020. Let me start with you. The best place to be talking about managing your finances, whether in January or the whole year, is embracing financial literacy. And like I said, a lot more people are embracing financial literacy. People are more interested in savings. People are more interested in, investment. Everybody is looking for where to plug their money. Now, everybody seems to know what the central bank is saying or doing. Everybody. So that is very, very exciting to know. So for you in 2020, in January, all through 2020, embrace financial literacy. Like I always like to tell people, that you went to school, maybe you got a master's, you got a PhD, does not amount to financial literacy. You can be a PhD holder, you can be a master's degree holder, and you can be as broke as anybody who didn't go to school. Now, if you go to Lagos Island where the women sell stuff, women who are not educated in any way, it will amaze you the amount of money they are controlling because they have financial literacy. So for you to get ahead in 2020 financial-wise, you need to embrace financial literacy. And what is financial literacy? You are listening to this program already. That means you are interested in taking your finances a notch higher. You attend webinars, you read books. There are a lot of books that you can read that would help you understand the dynamics of personal finance. So the most important thing and the best place to start the year from is you embracing financial literacy. Let me ask you, audience, how many books did you read last year on personal finance? Now, we are starting a new year. Read at least a book a month about your money. I mean, your money is your life, like they usually say. Money is a lifeline of so many things. You need money, you need to understand money. So you need to embrace financial literacy. Read books, go on YouTube, just listen to webinars, just listen to people, follow experts. Listen to Nancy's show. Follow me on social media. Follow other people who are very, deep and they know what they're doing and what they are saying in the financial literacy field. The second one is your money. Now, when people say my money, they say my money, my money. What we don't realize is that apart from that money belonging to you, there are a lot of external factors that affect that money. For example, macroeconomic policies, what the government does and does not do. At the global level too, what the president of the US does has a way, directly and indirectly, of impacting your finance. So when you say your money, I need you to realize that it is not only about you, because a single governmental decision or policy can affect the amount of your disposable income. So an extension of financial literacy is what is happening around me. So our government in Nigeria has shut the border. How does that impact my finances? The prices of goods will go up, your disposable income reduces, and a whole lot more. Now, Iran, Iraq, and a whole lot of things happening around the world. How does that affect your personal finance? It does affect your personal finance because at the end of the day, all these policies, all come down to how much you are able to spend. Inflation, for example, you need to be aware of some of these things happening. So don't just say my money, my money. It is your money, but it is the money for everybody because what the government does affects what you eventually have to spend. Nancy, are you with me?
Yes, I am. So I'm listening to you.
Financial literacy for starters. Number two, be aware of things happening around. Don't just be glued to your TV watching movies and movies and movies. Put it on, news channels. Understand what is happening in the local economy and in the global economy. So you're able to understand why treasury bills are dipping. In recent times, we all know that treasury bills rates dipped a lot. Single digits now. We know that inflation is going to hit, probably, in my opinion, hit 12% soon. Now, if inflation is as high as that, and returns on your investments are in the single-digit range, What does that say regarding your personal finance? That means you have to look for investing opportunities that would be able to match the inflation rate so that you are not losing money. So don't just say, I don't understand. They're always talking about you need to be conversant with what is happening across board so that you don't lose money and you make the best use of your resources. Nancy.
Yes, it's, thank you for giving us that background. And that is why I'm starting this first live show for this year with this topic. I intentionally did not want to look at, Nigeria economic outlook and all of that. I'm going to do that in the next couple of days. But I also do understand that there is a need for financial literacy because a lot of us, close to 200 million people of us, some of us are literate, we've gone to school, we are graduates and all of that. But finding out that not a lot of us are financially literate and a lot of us want to make money. Like I did say earlier, that money is one of the biggest source of stress in this country. Not even personal relationships, not any other thing. When it comes to money, a lot of people have headache about it. So it's good that we're starting this year on this note so that we can have a very good foundation. Now, the second part of it, or perhaps the third part of it, because you've enumerated, you've explained about your money, about the 2020 part, which is this year.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. So, a lot of things would affect the outlook, the financial outlook of every year. And you cannot take away the influence of the government, the influence of global occurrences. The influence of things around will eventually, determine the way the year goes. So I tell people you need to keep an eye on your own personal economy. You need to keep an eye on the national economy. You need to keep an eye on the global economy. Now, when you look at the news, when you read some of these things, it's not so interesting. It's not so exciting. Everybody's saying, oh, the market. But for all you care, the stock market in the U.S. has been on an all-time high in the last few weeks, okay? So the year is a factor of two things, what you do and the external factors that I explained already. Now, this year, what can you do to improve on your finances and your resources? If you have been earning a particular amount of money in the last 5 years and you have been struggling, you're not able to make ends meet. Now, it tells you that you need to, probably look at your sources of income. You need to kind of introspect to see how you can do things better. So your year, starting with you, what are the things you can do better? Do you need to make more money? I like the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki because, and I talk about it a lot. He says you can make money as an employee, you can make money as a self-employed person, you can make money as a business owner, and you can make money as an investor. 4 quadrants. Where are you currently operating? Are you only earning salaries? Do you want to consider investing as another source of income? Are you a self-employed person where the business is all about you? If you are ill, no money. If you're out of town, no money. Do you want to consider investing? As a business owner, do you want to consider invest? At the end of the day, the investor quadrant brings in more money, according to Robert Kiyosaki, and I kind of agree with it because I run an investment club and I realized that over time, we invest in opportunities that just help us maximize our resources. So 2020 is a factor of what you do in addition to the externalities. What you do, how do you make more money? Do you want to start a business? Or do you want to reconsider what you do? Do you want to learn more skills? I tell people I'm a chartered accountant of 18 years experience, but I do stuff to make really, really good money such that I have multiple sources of income. When one income flow is down, the other is working. So you hardly feel the brunt. So do you want to learn more skills? Do you want to consider affiliate marketing where you can market the products of other companies for them? A lot of companies are looking for marketers, so to say, in an affiliate way, where you talk about their products to people and they pay you a commission. Do you want to start a business? Do you want to consider aggressive investing? The agro-allied industry is another area that we need to look into. Farmers Farmers are making money and they're looking for people who would finance them, collaborate with them to do so much more. So look at your earnings. Now, let me share this acronym with you briefly, talking about 2020 and what you need to do. I call it BEAT IT, as in acronym BEAT. B, budgeting. Plan your finances. Prioritize. Don't just be about spending. Oh, don't be under pressure to impress anybody. Budget. E, your earnings and your expenses. Keep an eye on it. Make the money, spend the money smartly and wisely. A, avoid debt. A lot of people find themselves, especially in personal finance, when you borrow money to feed, then there's a problem. You need to expand your income base so you can make more money. Then track. I told people, it's a new year. There are so many apps. Nancy, for 3 years, I have used Google Sheets to track my expenses. I recently discovered another amazing app that, they're simple enough. We are all on our smartphones doing all sorts. Why are we not using this same smartphone to do things that can help our finances? I don't want to mention names, but if you follow me on social media, I did mention about 2 or 3 apps that you can specifically use. Just when you spend, you put it down, where you just track your expenses. And then talking about investments, when we started this program, I had people saying, I want to save. There's a difference between saving and investing. And I tell people, saving is you putting money aside. Investing is you putting money to work. So don't just say I'm saving. A lot of times, as a chartered accountant of 18 years experience, for a better part of my career, I was always saving. And then at the end of the day, I couldn't show anything for the savings, So save is put it aside, a percentage on a monthly basis, then put it to work. Ask, find out investment opportunities so that you're not tempted to go, touching the money and using it for the things you didn't plan for. And the final one is time management. What are you going to do with your time? Because at the end of the day, remember, I'm talking about you and 2020. The way you spend your time will determine a whole lot more. I don't want to talk so much about that. And then already I talked about the other part of the 2020, macroeconomic and global factors. You necessarily do not have control over that, but the ones you have control over, you plan them, you put them in order, and every other thing, will fall in line. That's what I think.
You've said quite a lot, and I know, Sola, that we can really go on and on if we continue, because personal finance is one topic I love and always like bringing to to our viewers all the time, because we should inform and educate as well as enlighten our viewers. So personal finance is, in fact, one of my best topics to look at on the program. But in just a few minutes, like I said earlier before you came on, I did tell our viewers that we should have different financial goals for different ages. A 20-year-old should not be doing, or maybe doing something differently from a 40 or a 50-year-old person that may not be able to take as much risk as possible. Are there some investment advice for different ages, different groups of people from 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and perhaps 60s, and even for our seniors, because at the end of the day, some people may have retired, but they are not tired.
Right. All right, so 2 things I would like to mention when it comes to goal setting. There are 3 different types of goals you need to set. You may set, and they are time related. Short-term goals are goals that range between 0 and 12 months. Mid-term goal, in my opinion, are goals that last up until 3 years, and long-term goals are goals that can span into 10 years. Now, when you're setting your goals, it depends on what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Paying your rent, going for vacation are short-term goals. Okay, mid-term goals could be, I want to build a house in 5 years, and then long-term goals could be, my son is going to go into college. I would want to put aside some amount of money to send my son or my child to school. So that is the time aspect of it. When you're setting goals, don't just say, in the next 1 year, I want to build a house, and you don't have the means. Pace yourself, okay? That's the time aspect of it. Now, when it comes to goal setting and your age, in investment, there's something we call SGAR. In investing, there are 4 things you need to consider. Number 1, what is your financial situation? That's the S. The G is, what are your goals? The A is what is your age, and the R is what is your risk temperament, SGAR. Now, somebody who is in his or 20s or 30s still has time, arguably. So you can invest in the stock market. There are different asset classes. You have equities. I mean, I don't want to go into that. Now, you can invest in equities in your 20s and your 30s and even maybe your 40s. Sometimes you know the equity market is high risk, high return. Unlike the fixed income securities, the treasury bills where you know your capital is guaranteed. You can go into that, just do with the little returns you are earning. So these four factors should determine the kind of risks you will take. Your risk temperament also matters. Somebody who is 60 should not, in my opinion, go and play in the equity market. We know how the equity market has been in the last few years in Nigeria. Now, if you put all your retirement funds in equity market, you buy stocks and the market crashes, what happens? So the person who is in her 30s can play with the stock market and then there'll be a rebound. You get your money back. Do you understand? But if you're in 60s or in your 50s, you can't put your life savings in the stock market. So you probably need a financial analyst to help you decide. So talking about age, you need to consider these four things: your financial situation, how much do I even have to invest? Your goals, what are your goals? Do I want to do this in the next 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years? And then what is your age? Because everybody is doing it doesn't mean you should put your money in it. You are not the same age. There's so many other things to consider. And of course, your risk temperament. Some people are very conservative. They want to put their money somewhere. They want to see the money and the return. They don't want anything to touch the capital. Some people are moderate and some people are aggressive. They don't care. They just want to put the money there. If they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. They move on to the next one. So those are a few things that you need to. Your age is important. Your risk temperament is important. The amount you even have to invest is important, okay? And your financial situation as well.
All right. I think we'll leave it at that, Sola. At least our viewers have gotten like a little dose of what 2020 should be and what they should be doing, isn't it? So it's for them to be resolute, because once it's the new year, a lot of people have New Year's resolution because celebrations are over. Then you see people being so conservative and so sober. Oh, okay, my New Year resolution, The champagne glasses have been put away now. Party is over. 30 December, party after party is over. You're back to reality. Yes. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sola. I will speak with you again sometime. I wish you a great new year, I wish you a great new year.
Same here. Have an amazing one and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I've been speaking with Sola Adesakin, who is the founder of Smart Stewards. We've been talking about you, your money, and 2020. I hope you've been able to take one or two things away from the interview. Your age 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you have to have different financial scope and a different financial goal. If you're in the 20s, we have this kind of lifestyle inflation. You want to go to parties with a different kind of clothes every day and all of that. But as you enter your 30s, your financial commitments are becoming more, circumspect. You enter your 40s, you're catering for your family. 50s, your children are going to college and all of that. 60, you're approaching retirement. So you need to shine your eye. So your money, 2020, you better, put on your seatbelt. Like I said, like you saw on the show earlier, on your mark, get set, go 2020. So at the end of this year, we will all be profiting and smiling. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, another area, the market outlook for 2020. What should we be expecting? The stock market closed in the negative territory, 14.6% last year. How are we going to be costing this year? Ambrose Omodion, the CRO Invest Data Consulting, will be joining me after the break to join us again. you're just joining us, it's still Moneyline with Nancy. Let's continue the program with looking at the market outlook. I'm Bruce Omodion, the CRO at Invest Data Consulting, is joining me from Lagos, the Commercial Nerve Center. Mr. Omodion, good to have you. Happy New Year to you, if you can hear me. Oh, okay. All right, let's just, while we wait for Mr. Modio to join me, I just want to give you some briefs about what's happening globally right now, especially as the markets have resumed. We know what's happening globally. I'll come to that in a bit. But for the Nigerian stock market so far, the equities market closed in a positive territory last week. We saw a 0.47% rise for the market, 14.6% decline for the market last year. So the market started in a positive territory. Mr. Modia is joining me right now. Let's take a look at some of those details. Mr. Modia, good to have you on the program. Happy New Year. Can you hear me?
Yeah, same to you. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm well. Thank you for joining us too. Now, let's take a look at the market for 2019. It wasn't a good one for the Nigerian stock market, isn't it? 14.6% loss for the Nigerian stock market. How are we going to start this year? Though a positive of 0.5%, at least in the last few days, the first trading week of the year, 0.5% in the positive territory. But what should investors be looking at this year?
Okay, if you look at the market performance for 2019, it was a mixed performance driven by a lot of mixed sentiment around starting from the political environment, the sensitive line with the election that was held in February. Before that February, market also suffered loss for the previous report, 2018, because of what there was kind of from leaving the emerging market, frontier market to advanced market. That considered to 2018. That was extended to 2019 because there is still no direction as